My name is Daniel Ni Odambochi from the Ghana Tvet service. Um, I thank you. I bring you greetings from the Director General of Ghana Tvet service, Dr. Rick Azro, as indicated by the MC. I'll be talking about the data supply and data needs of Ghana Tvet service, the kind of data we collect, who uses it, and what we hope to do. As has been rehashed by various speakers, data remain an integral part of the TV service delivery because everything we do hinges on data. To proceed, I just want to tell you a few things about the Ghana TV service before we continue to the various aspects. Here, I'm looking at some importance relative to TVET education in Ghana and over the years, government commitment towards the sector, and followed by the establishment of the Ghana TV service. If you look at this shows what persisted within the space before the TV service actually came into being. It's actually a realignment of some agencies under the Ministry of Education. So before we had all these various agencies under 9 ministries that were delivering some form of TVET. So by the promulgation of the Pre-Tertiary Act 2020, Act 1043, the TV service came into being, and all these agencies came together to form the service. So as a service, it was given the mandate to manage, oversee, and implement approved national policies relating to TVET at the pre-tertiary level. Our vision and mission clearly stated there. Now, with our mandate, the mandate further hinges on 3 legs. The first, which talked about quality instruction, where we are to ensure that there's high standard of TVET education, instruction, bridging the education industry gap, where in terms of curriculum development, which is done by the commission, the TVET as a body, as a service, also takes part in curriculum, contributing to it, and then training to work transition, where we look at the training of these students and the learners while they leave the space, how they smoothly enter the work space is also one area that is very critical. Now, I want to give you a brief cursory look at the institutions we have across the country. So as TVET, we have 243 operational institutions at the public side. These are public TVET institutions dotted across the country. So in terms of the data side, since, like I indicated, the TVET service came by form of a realignment. In this regard, there were many agencies that came together. Therefore, data need to be collected. We have to collect data on the various institutions, data on teachers, data on even learners, and all other things that are in the various institutions. And still till now, we still collect data. And these are some of the areas: workshops, machinery and tools, ICT labs, consumables. All these are various types of data needs. And also, in terms of our data needs, under the human resources, we need to have data on continuous professional development, where all facilitators, all managers who have gone for some kind of upgrade, we have that data on them. Workplace experience learning, we have that kind of data on students and even staff who go for well. All these are data points that we are looking at. Now, these are data sources. So we take data from institutions, regional directorates, statistical research information management stream, which is at the Ministry of Education, and then CTVET as our regulator. We also take some data from them, most importantly, examination data, to be able to analyze and see the performance of our trainees. Data needs. So in terms of some of the going forward, having even an integrated IT space, we are looking at having data on labor market, where we need to get data in terms of the skills in demand, regional job forecast, emerging industries. All these are data points that as a service, when we get, it's very instrumental in terms of our delivery. Institutional data. So on the institutional data, we take data on student performance. So as during the panel discussion, my director indicated that there is student information system, which is currently housed by the Free SHS Secretariat. This data belongs to Free SHS. We, as a service, do not have access to that system. So anytime we are looking for data on our students, we may have to get it from Free SHS, which most times becomes a difficulty. Other times too, we may have to collect this data from the ground. And there are a number of issues that come with this data. We'll get to the challenges where I will explain some of them. Teaching quality is also, as a quality assurance division, teaching quality is one of the things we also have to monitor within the organizations, and we will need data on some of these things. Infrastructure utilization, financial management, all this can be done by getting an integrated IT system, which was earlier mentioned that GIZ is actually supporting the service to develop what we call the Tvet MIS, which is, I think, is in progress. So we are hoping that in the near future, all this will be done. So this is what we are looking at. To have a centralized Tvet MIS, Tvet Management Information System, where we can have student registration, which will handle admissions, enrollment, and student demographics. So what will happen is that as placement has been done and the schools are doing their admission, the IT officers will also be interfacing with our system so that at the headquarters, by just a click of a button, we are able to get all data on students, academic records, resource management, and then labor market intelligence and data. All this, we hope that in the near future, when the Tvet MIS is ready, we'll be able to canvas all these things we are talking about. Also, system integration is one key thing. As most of the speakers have addressed in the various ministries and agencies, there are silos of management systems that are already existing. There's a need that once we have a Tvet MIS, it's able to integrate with other existing management information systems. So like the Ghana Statistical Service, their system, National Identification Authority, so that we can have seamless exchange of data within the space. The benefits are far-reaching. It enables comprehensive national human resource planning, aligns Tvet offerings for broader national development goals, creates clearer picture of Tvet impact on the national workforce. It is very, very important that we have the system where they can talk to each other and not to sit in isolation. Now, challenges. As data collectors, these are some of the major problems we are having. Delay in data submission from institutions and the regions. Most often, one of the critical issues when it comes to us data officers within the service as we speak without a system is when DG calls that I need this data on so and so, and then we will now have to call regional directors. Regional directors will send this to their principals. This may take days, sometimes months, when you have to meet a deadline, and that becomes a major challenge. Why? You call some of them, either it is a network problem, or some of them in the mode to send the data you are collecting becomes a difficult. Data quality issues, accuracy and consistency. There are issues with most of the data we collect from the grounds. For instance, if you call a school and ask that, give me data on all the students in your school, then it becomes a difficulty. Some, they are hesitant to give you the total number of students in the school. Now, when you go to some of our schools, or in general, even including the senior high schools, there are some students they consider as the free SHS students. Some has, or at some places, admit some students in the school without the system. So usually when you are collecting data, they are uncertain whether the data they are going to give you is going to be used for something else. So if, say, the first years are 500, maybe on the grounds they are about 1,000. So when you call for data, they tell you, okay, I have 500 students in the school. But same data may be sent to a different division. When you go and see that Form 1s are 800. And these difficulties are occasioned by some of these things. So if we have a policy or everything is clear, that these are the number, when we say we are collecting student data, we know that it is one word of truth. The data you are giving us will be the same everywhere. These are some of the challenges we are. Then data management constraints. Even ourselves, as we have collected all these data, they sit in some SL, they are in chunks. When it comes to using the data management system that will process and give you business intelligence analysis, it becomes difficult because you have to put everything together. I remember at a point there was a call that came that, oh, we need to have all our building and construction students across the whole country. If there was a system by a click of a button, regions everywhere, I should be able to get this. But because this data was needed urgently and we didn't have anything like this, we had to summon about 10 people to come and sit together, everybody handling one region, picking all the enrollment by programs to put all of them together to be able to provide such a report. This is a major challenge, and we believe that when there is an IT infrastructure in place where, like I spoke about earlier, having an MIS, all these things will become easy. And it will help in policy direction and policy implementation. Because if we would have to take about 2 or 3 days to be able to get data on our learners in the various streets, that is not productive for us. Then data coverage. I think some earlier speakers indicated this. We are only able to get appropriate data on the public side. However, with informal, it becomes difficult because for informal, we may have to rely on the trade associations. Also, as we all know, not every Tvet provider may belong to an association. When that becomes the case, they will provide only those that belong to the association. However, our data should be comprehensive enough such that the whole country, when you're talking about informal people, you know you are covering everybody. Same with the private institutions. Madam is here, president. Mostly we have always been falling on her when you want data. However, there are some private Tvet institutions dotted across the country who do not belong to the association. How are we able to bring them to our coverage? These are some of the challenges we also have. And then limited or no access to regular internet connection. Somebody said, even at the headquarters, internet is a bit of a challenge. Now, if headquarters is having that challenge, what about a school in Lolobi Technical Institute, which I visited, which is just one block with no workshop? How are they even going to have internet? So these are some of the challenges that we have as a service in terms of data collection, and we believe that going forward, when these things are resolved, conclusions, we are saying that key conclusion, a well-resourced data informed GTVET is fundamental to effectively building a skilled workforce that meets the evolving demands of Ghana's economy. That this comprehensive approach contributes significantly to Ghana's future development and national competitiveness. Way forward, I say strengthen the supply base, building IT infrastructure, digital systems, so that all these things will help us in going forward in terms of property we're delivering. Enhance data systems. Systems is all we are looking forward and asking for. We say choose Tvet, and then this brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Well done. Nice presentation. But my challenge was what you said at the tail end of your presentation, the constraint. And destroyed almost everything for me. Because if you go out, you get data, and then you can't analyze it. You can't make sense of it, as in using it for policy or whatever purposes. Then it defeats everything that you've done. What do you think has to be done? Because the example that you gave, from where I sit, I think just Excel could have done that. What it meant to me was that you only go for the data, and then you put it somewhere, you don't really use it. Then when it is asked, that is when people are moving around trying to get it. So what do you think has to be done? If data is collected, it is not being analyzed, not being put in place, and when it's needed, can't be used, then what is the point of getting the data? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Before you respond, there's another question there.
So my question would be more in terms of, you presented now also some outlook, right? But maybe can you explain again the current status of implementation of your Tvet MIS? Where do you currently stand in terms of implementing this Tvet MIS?
Thank you very much. To address the first question, I don't know if maybe what I'm saying is that not that we collect the data and we don't use it for anything. We are able to do all the various analysis. I'm talking about the workaround time, where because of the nature of the data we have collected, it takes a lot of time to process. But with a system, for instance, just by a click of a button, what will take us about a day or two to do, we'll be able to do it seamlessly. So data we collect, they are sitting right now, every data about the service we are able to provide. The commission from time to time requests for data. We give to them everything we are able to provide. But I'm talking about the point where we have a system where it will be so integrated that even the commission may have an access where by a click of a button, they're able to get the various cohort and sets of data they want for their activities. And to address the next question, the issue, as I indicated, the Tvet MIS, the processes began about some 8 months ago. Thankfully, the project coordinator from GIZ is seated right here in this place and is nodding to whatever I am saying. What I know is that we are far advanced, and I believe in very, very the shortest possible time, our Tvet MIS will be ready. And when we are here again to have this conversation, we'll be telling beautiful stories of how we are using data to transform Tvet. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's give him a round of applause. Thank you so much.